Today's episode of Keystone's Prevention Chatter, we're going to talk about the latest drug trends here in York County, South Carolina. Delta 8 THC. Delta 8 is a lesser known form of THC, also called weed light, and it's become more popular than ever due to its less intensive mind-altering effects, as well as it's legal to be bought and sold in a local vape shop or CBD shop. On the molecular level, when we look at Delta 8 compared to Delta 9, ultimately they both affect our endocannabinoid system, but it all comes down to the double bond. And on Delta 8, the double bond's on the 8th carbon molecule, whereas on Delta 9, it's on the 9th. And ultimately, that placement of the double bond really comes down to the potency of the THC, which is why Delta 8 is less potent than Delta 9. So will Delta 8 get you high? Absolutely. It's going to get you high, maybe not as a high effect, but it's still affecting the endocannabinoid system, which releases those euphoric mind-altering highs. And speaking of the mind-altering effects, what can that do on somebody? It may slow down someone's motor skills. It may cause dizziness or disorientation, anxiety, increased panic attacks, impaired short-term memory, reducing the reasoning skills, or delusions and hallucinations. You got to remember, THC, it is not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody metabolizes things differently, and so you have to remember that just because somebody else has a experience with Delta 8 might not mean it's the same effect that will happen on you. And when we think about these physical effects, it's important to know that with Delta 8, there's still so many things that can affect our insides. And we know that with Delta 8 and Delta 9 in general, there is tar when it's in a smokable form. There's actually 4 times more tar in a cannabis THC product compared to a traditional cigarette. If you think about that sticky burnt residue in a smoked bowl, ultimately that tar can lead to increased coughing, respiratory issues, and weakening the immune system, especially making you susceptible to getting COVID. Ultimately, the bloodshot eyes, which is very common with using any type of THC, is very common as well with the Delta 8. Nausea and increased heart rate and blood pressure is something that we see as well with Delta 8. Now, we know that with any substance, whether it's legal or not, such as alcohol, there's academic, professional consequences, and legal consequences. With Delta 8, there's still possible arrests due to its unknown legality, lower grades or poor school performances for youth or adolescents that are using this product, failed drug screens, especially for those that participate in sports, extracurriculars, maybe they're on a scholarship. And then for your business professionals, if you were to get a randomized drug screen or you're applying for a job that drug screens, you are at risk for failing the drug test. So does that mean Delta 8 safe? Is it safer? Ultimately, it's not regulated by the FDA. The FDA has not recognized Delta 8 at all, and so this weed light does not make it safer or less addictive. It's marijuana in another form, and we know that there is such a thing as a cannabis use disorder, and that is something related to the Delta 9. Though we don't have much research on the addictive nature of Delta 8, it's still a risk. We are the human lab rats testing these products. Companies can put anything into the products claiming it cures or prevents a specific health problem, such as anxiety or a pain reliever. But ultimately, that stuff that they're adding, such as synthetic flavoring, it can cause a lot more risk to ourselves that we don't have the research on. And that leads to the final point. Limited research. We just don't know yet how to dose Delta 8, the potency, and the long-term effects. So how is it legal? Well, we know that Delta 9 THC is classified by the DEA as a Schedule I drug, which is federally illegal as of the spring of 2021. Nearly all Delta 8 THC products are derived from the CBD that's extracted from a hemp plant. And in South Carolina, we have legalized the Farm Bill, which is also the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018. But in South Carolina, as of spring 2021, we have not legalized medical marijuana nor recreational marijuana. Now, how is Delta 8 legally sold in the stores around York County? Well, there's loopholes, and it's being sold because it's extracted from the CBD hemp product. However, any type of modification to a CBD product is technically illegal. That's where the loophole falls. We're still figuring out what is the future of Delta 8 and will it be legal to the consumers like it is currently. So let's not be the human lab test rats for this Delta 8. We just don't know the risk yet. Don't forget to visit keystoneyork.org for more information and resources. If you or someone you know is battling with a substance use disorder, contact Keystone today at 803-324-1800. Take the first steps, and we're here to connect you to care.